Hello and welcome to the channel where I talk about the movies. We're talking about my least favourite films of 2023. I know I've taken my time to get around to this list, but I kind of want to cover as many 2023 films as I could possibly get my hands on without kind of doing the lazy thing of just not watching movies. So there was a lot that I didn't watch. Some that I really wanted to watch, so it doesn't matter. When it comes to my best of and worst of, I try to actually just watch the films throughout the year and see what I like, and I do a whole ranked list on my Letterboxd, which you can check out down below. And yeah, this is the end of my 50 films that I watched last year, or that I watched out of 2023 films, because a couple of them I added in January of this year. So let's dive into it. This will be my top 10 least favorite, but some of these aren't actually films I consider to be bad. Like, there's only like 5 or 6 films here I consider to be like actually bad films. So yeah, that'll be fun to talk about. But number 10, because we're going to do top 10s, Evil Dead Rise. I like the film, I just didn't care that much for it. It's weird watching an Evil Dead film and being like, oh, here's our main character, we're going to root for them. They're going to... What's that? They're possessed, and now it's about their children and how, oh my god, they're all dying? Oh, what the fuck? Why did I watch this movie? I forget that, like, somehow I forgot that the Evil Dead films are about how people get brutally murdered. And I'm like, that's not fun. I don't know. It's a weird thing to watch it when it's a family and it's kids and it's their mother getting possessed and then them all getting fucking butchered, and it's like, what? I don't know, man. It didn't really... it didn't really work for me that well. Not to mention the fact that it seemed like a really cheap version of the idea. Like, oh, here's a couple neighbors, some of them are going to die, or they're all going to die, but we're not really going to talk about it. You have all this chance for, like, great kills that are going to happen throughout the film, and you just kind of ruin it by just not doing it. I don't even know who the protagonist of this movie was. Was there a protagonist? It doesn't matter. My biggest pet peeve about the movie was the fact that it was just a bad version of Demons 2, which is a giallo. Is it even giallo? It's just an Italian horror film from like the 80s, I think late 80s, early 90s, by Lamberto Bava, the son of Mario Bava. And of the 2 films of his that I've currently watched, Demons and Demons 2, or as I like to call them, Demoni and Demoni 2, because they're Italian and Demoni sounds so much cooler than Demons. Demons 2 is literally the same as this film. It's in this regard, it's someone watches a TV, they see a movie, they get possessed, it's during a party, they go crazy, kill the people at the party, possess a couple more of them. But guess what? It's not just the one apartment of a couple of people. There's already like 20 people in that apartment. It's the whole building. And the whole building becomes possessed. And you get all these different groups of people who are fighting the possessed. And they're much more fun possessions than what Evil Dead Rise has. And I get it, Evil Dead Rise has that monster mash thing at the end, but honestly, couldn't care less. Demons 2 is just so much more fun and vibrant. So yeah, but still, I don't know. It was one of those, had potential, kind of flaunted it. I don't know. Number 9, Purpose Exorcist. I still like this film. Again, this doesn't help that these are my top 10, and it's like, they're not actually bad films. I think I preferred Pope's Exorcist over Evil Dead Rise, but yeah, it's a few and far between. Pope's Exorcist was a really fun, so bad it's good kind of film where me and my mate went and watched it, and we had a blast watching it. We were all fucking cracking our heads off because it's like every time there's horror, we're laughing because I'm like, this is the funniest shit I've ever seen. This is so funny. I'm having the best time, and they pull all the punches. Russell Crowe is really fun. Him on his Vespa, beautiful stuff. Yeah, I don't hate it. I don't know if I'd watch it again anytime soon, if ever. I mean, I bought Evil Dead Rise on 4K. I bought it on 4K in Australia. No special features, which sucked, but because we didn't get the Steelbook in Australia. But yeah, yeah, I thought it was fun. It's good enough for me, you know. I forgot to mention it, but number 8 is Magic Mike's Last Dance. I still thought it was an okay film, and I did enjoy it, but in contrast to the first film, which I thought was pretty good, bit cheesy, but pretty good, and in contrast to the second film, which the second film is a masterpiece, it was just really disappointing. It felt like it didn't really just do anything.
I don't know. I still liked it. I mean, again, these three have all been films which have like had elements to them that I have enjoyed, and I think that they're like, it would advise a good new direction for the series, but I didn't think it really landed the mark. Plus, it was too much like a different film I'd already seen that was better. Pope's Exorcist was funny bad but still enjoyable. Magic Mike was still well made, but it was just like, I don't know, in contrast to the first two films, this is very lackluster, but these aren't necessarily bad films. I didn't disapprove of them completely. So, yeah.
Number 7, we have the Super Mario Brothers movie. I gave it 2.5 stars. I still gave it a like. I enjoyed what I watched because there are elements of it that I nostalgia bait like and whatever, but the film itself I wasn't so ho-hum about. I don't really care much for what happened. I don't care much for the characters. I don't give a shit about Peaches, that fucking song. Like, none of that interested me. I watched it with my mates and who are childhood friends that I played Mario games with as kids, and we've known each other for 20 odd years, and lo and behold, we're watching the Super Mario Brothers movie animated by the worst animation company that exists, and yeah, it's alright. I don't know. I was expecting exactly what I got, and I got exactly what I expected. I do prefer, despite rating it lower, the live action movie. I think that's a lot more fun and creative. I still rated this one higher. I'm pretty sure I rated that one like 2 stars, and I gave this one 2.5 stars. So it's like pretty subpar. It's fine. Like, sure, if you got kids, they'll love it. If you got weird nerds who, I can't even say weird nerds, I'm one of those weird nerds, really, really dedicated to the fan base people who dressed up like Mario and Luigi. We had a couple of them in the cinema. It's still fun to look at, but then you're like, man, I hope you guys enjoyed the movie. Because it's like, I didn't. Like, my friends still liked it, and good for them. One person who doesn't go and see movies and the other one who does go and see movies, and he's like, oh, it was so funny. I'm like, come on, bring in one Luigi, then we'll talk. Yeah. Then we got Elemental. I gave it 2.5 stars. I didn't even want to watch this. It was like one of the last films I watched last year on Disney Plus because I was fixing a cassette record player thing. It was one of those whole boxes that comes with all those old thingies. I was trying to get the record player to work. It did not. Too old. Couldn't fix it. You gotta like unscrew the back and like go into it. It doesn't matter. But my partner put on Elemental because she really loved it. She saw it in cinemas in America when she was there for 6 months. I had no interest to watch it. I saw the trailer. I'm like, yeah, this looks like a bad Guess Who's Coming to Dinner movie. I'm like, I'm good. And I watched it, and I'm like, yeah, this is just a bad Guess Who's Coming to Dinner movie. And I know a lot of people at the time it came out were like, wow, this movie coming out at the exact same time as Spider-Verse, what a bad choice. I'm like, yeah, duh, but also, it's just really boring. Like, I gave it 2.5 stars. It still has some merit to it, like some funny moments and stuff, but for the majority of the movie, I'm just like, I've seen this done better. I don't need this in a weird, stupid-ass fucking animated film. Like, I say animated to the degree of, I love animated films, but when it just seems to be, oh, it's because one of them's water and one of them's fire, oh, it's because it's racism, and I'm like, I don't care. I don't need you fucking heavy-handed. It's all a metaphor for racism. I don't give a shit, man. Fuck off with that stuff. There's a lot of better films that are literally just not even heavy-handed about, how racism's bad? So, or just prejudice in general, so. Anyway, at number 5 we have Anyone But You. This was the last film I watched in cinemas in 2023. Watched it with my partner because my friends had given us a gift card for Christmas, which was wonderful. It was like, it's a free pass to a movie, you get a drink, you get a popcorn, you get an ice cream. The ice cream was the best part of the whole experience. It was like boysenberry or some shit. I'm not a big Choc Top person, but holy shit. I don't like popcorn that much. I like the taste, but it gets stuck in my throat, so I can't really eat it that much. The movie sucked, dude. 2 stars. There was no chemistry between the leads. I love Glenn Powell. He's amazing. He is such a good fucking actor. He's great in romantic comedies, but he's also great in action films. I'm like, this guy's so fucking good. Why does this movie suck? It sucks because it was filmed in Sydney as well, so I'm like, oh god, it's an Australian film technically. Like, their worst joke was how Sydney Sweeney, who is not good in this movie, at all. Like, sure, she's hot, whatever the crap, but she's not a good actor in this movie. She's fine in Euphoria. I need to see her in something else. Like, I know there was that other HBO movie she did, that TV movie, and I'm like, I don't really need that. That's not the kind of shit I'm looking for. But she was not great in this. But they have a joke in it where it's like, oh, your mother, she's adopted the Australian lifestyle. And I was like, oh, okay, that is setting up something. And it just turns out that her mother is played by Australian actor Rachel Griffiths. I'm like, oh. But she's playing an American with the American accent. So I'm just like, is the joke just that it's an Australian actress? Is that it? That's not a good joke. Like, if you want to follow through with the joke, make her be Australian. How funny would that be if she just talks in her regular accent? She doesn't even have to pretend. You know, they could make comments on it like, Mum, why do you sound so Australian? It's like, remember, she's adopted the Australian way. She's one of them. It would have worked so much better. There were so many times in this movie where it needed jokes and didn't have them. The chemistry between the characters and their exes, a lot better than the chemistry between the main two people. Just not great. Whoever directed this, Will Gluck, fuck you, man. Don't get him to write and direct a romantic comedy. He ain't good at it. Ugh, disappointing. And they have like 5 to 10 good minutes of the premise. Like, the trailer had the premise of, oh, you know, we're going to pretend to be in love to make our ex-partners jealous. But one, so that he can get back with her, and one, so she can be like, in your face, fuck you for wasting like 10 years of my life. They do that for like 10 to 20 minutes of the movie, and then it stops happening. And I'm like, why? This was perfect. This was great. Why did you stop? It's like that part in Venom where he's Venom, and then he's just not anymore. And then he has to fight another Venom. So it's like, in between that part, there's like 20 to 30 good minutes of good shit. That's in Venom. There's more good stuff in Venom than there is in this movie. Somehow. Next up, we have Fast X. I gave it 2 stars, which I feel like is probably very generous. I've enjoyed... what was his name? Me being stupid with names is not a good sign. Jason Momoa. I really, really liked his performance in this film. Gay supervillains, I'm all for. Come on. It was beautiful. The rest of the movie, not so much. Not as enjoyable, not as fun, really dry, really stupid. I watched it with a colleague of mine because her partner was meant to see it with her, and then they kept breaking up and getting back together again, so I'm just like, let's just go watch this movie. So we went and watched it, and I was just like, man, I've seen so many good Fast and Furious movies and so many bad ones, and this is like probably the worst one. For me, next to like Too Fast, Too Furious, but at least that film has some charm to it. So I'm like, I gotta rewatch Too Fast, Too Furious and give it a higher rating now. Woof. Yeah. And maybe like Fate of the Furious I didn't like that much, so that's just me. Number 3, we have The Last Voyage of the Demeter. Wait, that's not its name. It's called Dracula and the Demeter. The movie. That's what it's called in Australia. You might not know that. It was literally called, or it wasn't actually called, it was like called like Dracula Voyage of the Demeter. Why? Because it sold better. Did it sell better? No, it was shit. I saw it for $10. Gave it 2 stars. I don't even know. We were lucky, I think, because we went and watched it like 2-3 weeks after it came out, and obviously no one was watching it, so they're like, oh, $10 tickets, it's cheap, don't worry about it, So I was like, all right, let's go watch it. And we watched it, and we're like, man, this movie fucking sucks, and it's long and boring, and it's one of those, there's a great idea here, and you fucked it so hard in the ass, it's just dead. So, yeah, I don't even remember. Did I have it down in my review as to what I actually would have suggested be done? It's a very poor Jason Takes Manhattan, despite Dracula being cool in design only, with really nothing else of interest or scares takes place. Tension flies out the window almost immediately, and blah, 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 blah. There's no fun use of its premise or its vampire lore ideas. Dracula's mythos is roughhoused. The pacing and editing much the same. It's all just there with no real hull to keep this sinking ship of a story together. Man, remember when I used to write good reviews? And of course, this film is hilariously titled Dracula Voyage of the Demeter in Australia, despite it only one person saying the name Dracula, and it bears no weight. Like, genuinely, a person's like, it's Dracula. And then everyone's just like, what the fuck is a Dracula? So, yeah, it was an idea that clearly would have been so much better 30 years ago when they originally came up with it. So it's not just a CGI fest of crap, and you could actually see what's going on. So, Number 2, which isn't exactly a film I dislike. I probably shouldn't rate it as low. I just didn't give a shit. I watched it and was like, it was Mafregan. It's okay. Like, I still gave it 3 stars, which is obviously a lot better than a couple of these, and it's clearly a better film than, like, Elemental and Fast X and whatever, but I just didn't enjoy it. I'm like, I can understand it's a decent film, but I didn't enjoy it. Like, none of it I enjoyed. And not to the degree of, I hate this, it's 1 star. It's like, nah, I recognize it's a decent film. It's coherent, it's not stupid, it's decently edited, decently acted, whatever the crap. But it's just like, for the premise, it was just such a lackluster presentation of what it could have been. Like, I don't know, I've seen all the Chucky films. Do that! Except, wait, you are, but you're doing a bad version of it. So, it needed more blood and gore, it needed more kills, it needed more fucking mental-ass violence, and it just didn't do that. And even with its teaser for a sequel, I'm like, what's she gonna do? Become an AI and just attack people with, like, fucking garage doors? Like, come on, fuck off. Man, this is not fun. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't say I was baited into watching it, because I didn't really care much to watch it in the first place. The opening satire was fun. I forgot, I just looked at my review, and I'm like, oh, I really like the opening satire, but the rest of it was really tame. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about the opening satire. Remember the best bit was in the opening, like, 3 minutes, and the rest of the movie fucking sucked? Yeah. Anyway, number 1, worst movie, and this is genuinely a disgrace of a film, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I gave it 1.5 stars. It was purely awful. I can't fucking believe I watched that shit. I don't know why I did. I think it was just because a friend of mine who I hadn't seen in a while wanted to see it. And I think my brother came and saw it with us. So I was just like, yeah, alright. Like, I had no interest. I had watched Thor: Love and Thunder with the same person, and he fell asleep during it. Not my brother, but my friend. So it's like, yeah, clearly these movies aren't fun anymore. Like, they've lost their edge. We don't give a shit. Like, I didn't give a shit about Spider-Man when that came out, the No Way Home. It was fun the first time, but then pre-watching, I'm like, man, this movie fucking sucks. It's just one of those things of, like, these movies don't interest me anymore at all. Like, I know that as of today that I'm filming, the new Deadpool trailer came out, and I'm like, I'll watch the trailer, but I'm like, I don't want to watch the film. Which is not saying, I feel like it's saying a lot, because it's like, I don't know why I'm talking about Deadpool, but like, I enjoyed the first film, it's fun, but I didn't love it because I watched the trailers beforehand, and the trailers ruined all the jokes. I loved the second movie because I didn't see the trailers, and I really enjoyed the movie, and then I watched the extended cut, and I really enjoyed that as well. So it's like, I like the movie, so maybe I will like the third one, but I don't like superhero movies anymore, so I don't know what the fuck is going on. We'll see how it goes. I'll probably watch it anyway, just because my friends and family will be like, oh, sure, we'll watch Deadpool 3. It'll suck, but we'll watch it, At least we can be a part of that, bandwagon. So, yeah. No, Ant-Man sucks, dude. Katherine Newton is horrible in it, which sucks, because she's a really good actor. She's so good in *Halt and Catch Fire*. She's so good in a bunch of other shit that she's in, and this movie fucking sucks. It looks like shit. I was bored during the whole goddamn thing. Actually, I think I watched it with my brother and his girlfriend and my other brother. I don't even think I watched it with the friend who fell asleep during Thor: Love and Thunder. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened. It was like 4 of us in a car. We went and saw it, and I was just like, that movie fucking sucked. They're like, it was fun. I'm like, when? When the fuck was that fun? I don't often see someone shitting in a toilet and being like, oh, fuck yeah, I'm paying $25 for this. Actually, I didn't pay that much. They did. I paid like $10 because I was lucky. I had a points enough saved up that I'm like, good, I can pay a tiny fraction of money for a movie I know is not going to be good. Anyway, what were your least favourite movies of the year, or at least your worst movie? I do like that there was less bad movies that I watched this year, so the comprehensive 10-movie list is kind of null and void when I liked half of them. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things where I'm just like, it's kind of a lousy year, but it had some good hits. So again, check out my favorites of 2023 if you haven't seen it. I'd probably title the best films of 2023 for the clickbait reason, but realistically, it's just my favorite. There is no best. There is only the worst. Adios.